Hello dears, and welcome back to the channel Benidorm by Ana, where we show you a lot of interesting and useful information about Benidorm town and Spain in general. Today it's Monday. It's extremely hot outside right now in the sunshine, so we are on the terrace below the shade because that's the only way to stay outside right now, covered from the sunshine. And as every Monday and Friday, we're here to discuss with you the latest news update from Spain and Benidorm town. First of all, today we'll be talking about the cost of flights and what is actually happening with the flights. What are the favorite destinations right now? Second of all, we'll be talking about the complete shift of 180 degrees in the tourism here in Valencian community and especially Benidorm, which is something that we did not expect on happening right now. And the last news is something that is happening on the terraces of bars and restaurants during this summer. Which are the things that are happening and you need to be really careful of so that you wouldn't need to pay some big extra money for something that you did not ask for or you were not informed about. How bars and restaurants tend to take a little extra money from you even when they know they cannot do so. So let's start today's news update. First news, as I've pre-mentioned already, is the cost of flights. Right now, obviously, not only because of fuel costs, but also due to all the strikes, due to numerous issues that are happening in different airline companies. The flights to come to Spain, especially in UK, they've increased by 40-50%, which is basically like half more of what they used to cost. This wouldn't be a huge issue for UK because a lot of people are planning their holidays in advance. I know a lot of guests when I was working at different hotels here in Benidorm region, a lot of people were planning it 1 year in advance, at least like 6 months in advance, to have everything ready, everything paid, and just waiting for their holidays to come. But right now, due to the lack of staff, due to numerous strikes, you know that a lot of airline companies had a lot of flights cancelled, which made people to replan their holidays. Some of them obviously just cancel them and that's it to avoid extra stress, but a lot of people just decided to rebook them because they had this time already planned for their family and they just were not willing to give up on their holidays this 2022. But when they went to rebook the flights, what they've seen actually is that flights cost way more than they used to do previously, which a lot of people were just not willing to pay. But if they don't want to lose the hotel booking, they were forced to do so and search for some alternatives. Right now, you know that there are issues not only with the Ryanair that confirmed their strikes for the next upcoming 6 months, more or less, which is really hard to imagine, but I mean, it is what it is. The company is not making any single contact with their workers. So this is what they need to do. Up until January, if nothing will change, they'll have strikes every single week from Monday till Thursday. Apart from that, you know that EasyJet have already finished with it because finally they ended up talking with the company and they got what they wanted, which is a great news for EasyJet. Lufthansa also has cancelled quite a lot of flights lately because they also had some strike and some issues with workers in the company, or better to say workers had some issues with the company. And Air France as well has cancelled some of their flights. So it's a hard summer. It's not the best summer of our lives, of tourist lives, as a lot of people were imagining, but it is what it is right now, and it's really difficult to get some flights. While a lot of countries, like northern countries, their favorite destination is still Spain, in between others that might be Greece, Turkey, Egypt, for example. People who are living here in Spain, they tend to choose way different destinations the other way around. Obviously, one of the most favorite ones are Caribbean zone, Caribbean islands. New York, which is surprising, go from Spain to New York with all the heat. Well, people are heading there, even though the flights are quite expensive. But that's like the journey of your life. Going to New York is a massive event. It's like one of a life journey, you know. People are taking this money like year by year. They're gathering it all up to be able to have this amazing holiday. and they're going to northwest of Europe. A lot of people are going actually to UK from Spain, which is like vice versa. People from UK are going to Benidorm and Valencian community and islands, for example, here, Balearic or Canarian ones. And people from Spain are heading to UK. How about that? As well as to France and Italy, for example. So everyone are still moving, even though the cost of airplane tickets is really, really high. But it seemed not to stop, at least for now, people from traveling during this summer. Speaking about traveling to Benidorm, it's very, very surprising to see in the news update that before we had on the very first place here in Benidorm, we've had the British tourism. You know, this was the engine of it all. After the pandemic has ended, mostly British were coming to our lovely Valencian community and Benidorm area as it is. Right now, it changed completely 180 degrees, and the biggest market right now for tourism in Benidorm is national market back again. Before, years ago, it used to happen because in August the majority of people here are on holidays, especially administration and official workers that work in governmental institutions. They are the ones who are taking vacations on holidays in August, so they're flooding to our area, especially from north parts of Spain, Madrid, for example, and all other areas of Valencian community that don't have the beach and the sea nearby. So right now, top 3 tourists that visit our area are Spanish national tourism, British ones on the 2nd place, and the 3rd place are Portuguese, which is also really, really interesting. Before it was French people, but right now it's Portuguese. I want to say that right now we have the tourism really, really busy here in the area. We don't see any single parking space in the paid parkings even. The last time when we went to see the new tapas places here in Benidorm that we did not discover just yet, and we found probably the best tapas bar in all entire Benidorm. That was the last video that we did. I'm gonna put you a link here in the comments down below as well. We couldn't barely park anywhere. All the paid parkings, underground parkings, were collapsed. So it's really, really busy in here, and hotels are around 90% of occupancy. However, the worst part is on the islands. In Mallorca, for example, it's just incredible the situation they're living on right now. They are even planning to close the bookings for all the portals, for Jet2, for TUI UK, for EasyJet, for like everyone. Even online bookings, they're planning to shut them down because they are collapsing. They say that they are full. They have a lot of bookings for August and for September, and they are forced to shut down the bookings in the next couple of days, probably, to stop the overflooding of tourists, to stop the overbooking in the systems, because all the streets are full, all the hotels are full, apart hotels, private apartments, rented villas, like everything is full, bars, restaurants. It's just collapsing. Mallorca cannot take any more, which is why it's first time in a lot of years when they decided to just shut down all the bookings for a majority of legal official rentals and apart hotels and etc., touristic places to stay, because they cannot take any more. Mallorca cannot stretch any longer than it already is right now, which is going to be a tough decision to make, and it's not gonna be a good news for a lot of British and German tourists, which is the main tourism sector that is coming to the islands, to Mallorca especially. But I suppose people will just need to find for another alternatives or book alternative dates slightly further on in the year, or just go to Menorca or any other islands, or just any destination here on the peninsula, if Mallorca is not possible right now. And the last news that I wanted to share with you all is something that is happening in a lot of bars and restaurants, and especially on the terraces of theirs here in our region and in a lot of different parts in Spain. A lot of tourists are suffering the authentic abuse from the part of the owners of these hosteleria places, and a lot of them are even posting their tickets in YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, a lot of different social medias, Twitter for example, showing what they've been charged in some of these places. Some people even say that if they were at the Chiringuito by the beach side and for 2 small portions of tortilla, they were charged 28 euros. How about that? Although I know that in some regions prices are really excessive, as in Almeria, for example. Near Almeria, we went there on holidays at the beginning of June, and one hamburger with fries cost us nearly 21 euro, which is an excessive amount. Pizzas for 15 euros, 16, 17, and like a normal meal starting from 20 euros, which was nothing special from other world, you know. So it's just excessive amount being charged in a lot of these places. Especially, I have here a list of a few things that you need to know so that you would not be charged for something that you don't need to pay, actually, and that is illegal to charge you for. First of all, I want to say that if you are being charged for something that you know is not legal, you can ask for the official claim book that every single business that is official business, you know, they need to have these claim books, so you can ask for it. Once you fill it in, you need to bring it to the specific organization. If they don't give you this claim book, you can directly call the police, because police then makes a document stating that this was illegal. They did not give you the claim book when they needed to, and this might result in a big fine for that establishment. So next time they won't do that again, or at least think twice before doing something like this. So first thing that they can never ever do for you is to charge for the supplement for the terrace. Unless it's included like this, unless this price of a supplement, and this is clearly informed at the menu when you're sitting down, when you came to the place, you need to see clearly that the terrace has an extra supplement. If no one told you about this, if there is nowhere near you stated that you need to pay extra, they cannot charge you anything, or you don't have any obligation basically to pay for it if they put it in the bill. And they cannot say anything because it's illegal. This is the thing that is happening in a lot of areas. Here in Benidorm, it doesn't happen. I've never seen that they would charge you extra for the terrace, because basically a lot of bars are terrace of itself, you know. The majority of them, they barely have any tables on the inside, so they don't charge extra. But I know a lot of places do it here in Spain, so you need to be careful with that one. Second thing is the time. We've talked about it previously, although I did not see it in Benidorm still, but I know it exists in other areas. The time can be limited at all times, but only when the restaurant owner, or only when the restaurant itself, the workers, let you know at the moment when you pick up the table and you sit down, or if it's stated clearly nearby at some kind of a board, you know, or on the menu. If it's not stated, if they did not tell you at the moment when you were sitting down, and you could make a choice whether to stay there or go to any other restaurant that don't have any kind of limitations, they cannot tell you afterwards that you need to leave. That would also be considered illegal. Third thing, they cannot charge you for the water coming from the pipes, you know, like pipe water. It's illegal to do so. They cannot deny you in giving you the water from the pipe, even if they know that it's not suitable for drinking. So if you go to a restaurant and you ask for a glass of water, basically from the pipes, you know, just to open it and just ask for it, they cannot tell you no, because that would be considered illegal, which a lot of places were doing but are not allowed to do any longer. Even if they know, they can only tell you that it's not suitable for drinking, but if you still want one, they need to give you one. Next point is to charge you for the table, or a charge for the knife and fork, it's called, which is basically like a meal, you know, preparation of the table for your meal. A lot of places are doing so still. I've seen it here in Spain, not in Benidorm, however, but in other areas, South Spain especially, and north parts. and they charge you when you pick up the table. They charge you that it's kind of pre-booked for you, even though it's not the case. Or when they put like knife, fork, they put plates on there, they put a wine glass and like water glass and all this, they charge you for it. It's something that never ever needs to be tolerated. You cannot tolerate that. You cannot allow this from happening, trust me, because this is an implicit thing that comes inside of the whole service already of the meal. So they are not allowed to charge you anymore for that, for a table, for a knife and fork, for anything like this. And you don't need to pay for it if you see that happening. Next thing is the bread. The famous thing about the bread, you know, some people say that a lot of businesses here, which is happening in Benidorm as well and in Alicante, they usually when you have a menu, they state that the bread is included in the price. Then that's fine. But if for example you're eating a la carte meals in there, and they just say, you do want some bread? And you say, well, yeah, sure, like bring me some bread, because they don't say it's paid extra for it. They just ask if you want some bread. That's like a tricky thing to increase your bill, you know. And when they bring you the bread, they also don't say that it's for extra cost. However, when you pay for your invoice at this restaurant or bar, surprisingly, you see that there is a different line for bread, and it puts like a supplement of 2 euros, 3 euros, you know, depends on the amount of bread that they brought for you. So people are then surprised and shocked. However, a lot of them just don't want to confront the bar and restaurant, and they choose to pay this amount. However, you need to know that you shouldn't be paying for it if you were not informed that it has an extra cost. The last point is that all the prices usually are closed fixed prices, including the taxes, the IVA, which is Spanish IVA, Spanish tax, basically for everything. So usually all the prices need to be already fixed. So if it's 10 euros for a pizza, it's 10 euros for a pizza. You cannot charge me later on €1.21 extra for it, you know, like, or 2.10 euros, whatever the IVA is for that type of food or product. And this is not always the case. You know, some places do state that this is a price IVA included, which means that it's a closed price already. However, I've seen it in some places in Calpe and some places in Alicante as well that said that it's excluding IVA or IVA not included, which means that by some kind of way they are charging, apart from this price, they are charging you an extra tax for it, which is not really a logical thing to do. All the prices need to be closed, need to be ready for the people to see how much they will need to pay for the product or for the meal or for the menu. You know, we don't need to stay at the menu and just count, okay, then that's that plus the tax, then that would result in this and this and that. You know, we don't need to do that. We need to see the closed already price for the product that wants to consume in this place, in hosteleria. So if it doesn't say anything about the IVA, it means that it's already included in the price. Right now in summer, obviously, it's the best time for all the hosteleria, for bars, restaurants and cafeterias to work. It's the moment of a year when they gather all the money to be able to maintain themselves through the winter. So a lot of them just take advantage of it, and they try to get some extra euros, especially of tourists that don't know how things are working in here. But that's why you have me to inform you about this, so that you would know what rights do you have and what bars and restaurants cannot charge you for when you go and visit their business for some drink, snack or meal. And now let's talk about the weather. I've decided to head to the main streets to show you how our little village of Albir is living the heat wave, the fourth probably during this summer. There are still a lot of people here on the streets, even though it's really warm. There are some clouds during these following days here in Spain, but it's not something major, and it definitely will not be raining the next upcoming days in here. It's going to be stable, normal weather, typical for August. The temperatures are rising a little bit in a lot of parts in Spain, I must say. However, here they will remain stable. Here it's going to be around 34 degrees the next coming week, 7 days time. First part of August basically. In Alicante 34, in Barcelona 33, Granada 39, Malaga 29, Sevilla 41, Madrid 38, Murcia 36, Balearic Islands 36, Canarian 26 to 32, Valencia 33 degrees. Temperatures more or less will be the same. However, on the south parts of Spain, we might expect around 43 to 44 degrees at some points, which is just too much, which is why they have alerts due to extreme heat. So we still need to take a lot of precaution, drink a lot of water, use sun hats, and avoid sunny places on midday, especially up until like 5-6 p.m. And if you are at the beach, don't eat big fat foods, you know, before you go to the water, because you might get some indigestion. So be careful, because summer is really, really tricky. The water temperature right now is of 28.1 degrees in Benidorm, which is great temperature. It's still really, really warm to swim in. In general, the swimming season here is up until November, so you still have plenty of time to enjoy it. This was the latest news update from Spain and Benidorm area. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I wish you a lovely, lovely day of today. And I'll see you this Wednesday, where we will explore the amazing old town of Altea during the weekend. It was that busy as I've never seen it in years and years. So definitely don't miss the Wednesday's video. I'll see you then. Bye.